Good afternoon. My name is Regan. I'm a feminist economist. Having earned a PhD in economics, I know a little bit about pursuing perfection and a lot about taking handwritten notes. Historically, most of women's career opportunities were tethered to the pen. Yet presently, we're bearing witness to the creative destruction of taking to pen to express ourselves. And so we might ask ourselves, was all of this time invested in developing our penmanship wasted? I say no. I say, in fact, the most important skills are the investment of time, the pursuit of perfection. And so while modern society has rendered the written word nearly obsolete, save a grocery list or thank you note to grandma, those hours of pursuing your perfect penmanship have been more important than they may have seemed on the surface. And so today, I'd like to make the case for you that there is a connection between your pursuit of perfect penmanship and your human capital, or the skills you bring to the labor market. Penmanship reflects a time and a place, the country or year you were born, the language you speak, the alphabet you use, and your personality, whether it's that bodacious bubble writing, the stern all caps, meticulous script, or for me, a legible scribble. It's a common thread that also connects our generation. So let's say you were born in the United States before the Great Depression. You learned the Spencer method, a very detailed, difficult, ornate form of script, which took so long to perfect, the perfect angle. Yet those who could write in the Spencer method were labeled as model citizens. The Spencer method was the script of business, and so persons wanting to communicate about business had to know the Spencer method. Economic and technological changes took place, and we had the Industrial Revolution. And so we saw that penmanship styles changed. We went from the Spencer method to the Palmer method, a more efficient method meant to keep pace with a very important invention, the typewriter. The typewriter brought women into the business sphere. Due to our perceived competitive advantage of nimble fingers, women were prepared for the opportunity that the typewriter brought with them. We then saw new economic and technological changes in the 1970s, where everything about business was communication, the speed of communication, global communication, transferring information across space. And we saw the last formal style of penmanship taught in the United States come about, the Zanner-Blosser method. This utilitarian method taught manuscript first to allow earlier communication in children, to reflect that the needs of our labor market were all about communication. And we also started seeing many labor market opportunities for women change and expand, although still most of these were tethered to the pink-collar careers. Fast forward to today, penmanship is not necessarily taught in school anymore. We used to have 45 minutes a day of explicit penmanship instruction, 5 days a week, 13 years of schooling. This culminated into thousands of hours of explicit penmanship instruction, as well as so many hours taking handwritten notes, getting feedback from mentors and peers, and it's now been whittled to maybe 15 minutes in school a day, if any at all. Cursive, if taught, is taught in the art department. And so we might ask ourselves, was all of this time invested in pursuing our perfect penmanship wasted? Well, empirical studies don't show that. Empirical research, if you look at the handwriting effect or studies of retention, actually show that the written word is more efficient in terms of learning outcomes and memory than the typed word. So the written word still has relevance in our modern day. We also see that people have invested so much time in pursuing their perfect penmanship that people are wondering, are my skills now obsolete or no longer relevant for the labor market? Well, in fact, the relevant skills for the labor market are the time you invest in yourself. It's those thousands of hours you have spent pursuing your perfection, not the penmanship itself that has been the relevant skill for the labor market. So women, Whether you're studying in secular study to be a monk, in non-secular higher education, learning an instrument, or learning a new sport, it's the time we invest in the pursuit of perfection rather than the skill itself that's important. So women, let's find a room of our own. Let's write our story or share our narrative through penmanship or a muse of your own. But what matters is the time we invest. It's the pursuit that brings about the perfection. Thank you.